In today's video, the biggest change in the history of CKD. There are 7 foods that were unjustly banned from the renal diet but are actually really going to help you. Yes, today I'm going to completely change the way you look at potassium. Gathering here, I've been helping people overcome renal problems for more than 10 years now. I've seen people succeeding in what many consider impossible, having stable improvements in GFR and other markers such as creatinine and insulin resistance, despite the stage of CKD they were in. And there is one diet that always seems to give the best results. A diet rich in as much fruit and vegetables as possible, including those rich in potassium. And I can prove that what I'm saying is true. There is a large study focused on stopping and reversing the progression of CKD through the diet. This study saw stage 4 patients completely stopping the progression of the disease. Some even reversed CKD. All thanks to a more alkaline diet. And you know what are the most alkaline foods you can have in your diet? Those rich in potassium. Yes, potassium is actually one of the most alkaline parts of your diet, and this is one of the reasons why for some patients eating more high potassium foods may actually help reducing not just creatinine levels but also serum potassium levels. So it should be of no surprise that the patients who stopped or reversed the decline of GFR in literature were instructed to eat more high potassium foods such as potatoes, Brussels sprouts, kale, and broccoli. Yes, this is well documented in medical literature, as we can clearly see here. So question, why are patients still being told to avoid high potassium foods even if they don't need to? Today, many patients are still being instructed, often wrongly, to avoid a long list of foods because they contain potassium. And if you search info online about potassium in the renal diet, most websites will still provide you with this outdated information. The Vita websites is an example. If you search for how to prevent potassium levels from getting too high on their website, one of the first answers is still limiting foods that are high in potassium, which is a completely wrong approach as we have seen. Now you may think that those people at the Vita missed a few refresher courses because this is not my word against that of the Vita. Current guideline for CKD clearly states that, and I quote, potassium-rich foods need not be restricted as they offer other benefits that are beneficial to people with CKD. Now keep in mind that the researchers and doctors writing the KDOQI guideline are the authority here, not some blogger at the Vita. Yes, there is still a lot of misinformation going on. And all this confusion may be really bad for the patient. Unless the patient gets informed, like you are doing right now. So today we will see the bright side of this whole mess. We will see what foods that were banned are actually good for you and what are their benefits. We will also see who can eat them. Okay guys, just one more thing before we see what foods you may want to add to your diet. Always consult your doctor before any change to your diet. Patients with high serum potassium levels are not supposed to start eating high potassium foods right away. They are supposed to first take care of what's causing the issue, which is never the diet. More about this later on in this video. Let's start now with the top 7 of foods you were told to avoid but that are actually very good for you. Number 7, red potatoes. Okay, potatoes are amazing. It's a shame that people with kidney problems were forbidden to eat them for so long. And they are also healthy for you. Besides their potassium content, potatoes are a gluten-free carb source that's low enough on the GI scale if you cook them in the right way. So question, why do you want potatoes in your diet? Well, besides the simple fact that they taste so good, potatoes are a great source of resistant starch. starch is not broken down and fully absorbed by the body. Instead, it reaches the large intestine where it becomes a source of nutrients for the beneficial bacteria in your gut. Research has linked resistant starch to many health benefits, including reducing insulin resistance, which in turn improves blood sugar control. Alright? Potatoes with the highest resistant starch content and the lowest glycemic index are red potatoes. Interestingly, you can also increase the resistant starch content of potatoes. To do this, store boiled potatoes in the fridge overnight and consume them cold. Many more healthy foods to come. A very important question before that. Why are potassium-rich foods so good for you? Potassium is one of the most important essential nutrients in human nutrition, and most people consume way less potassium than they need. Potassium-rich diets can help to reduce cardiovascular and kidney disease according to science. In those with CKD, higher potassium intake is linked to less metabolic acidosis, less inflammation, less fibrosis, or scarring inside the kidneys, lowered blood pressure, less risk for heart problems, it even protects the bones. So these are some of the benefits that all the foods of today's video are going to have. Next food. Okay, here's the fruit that has been the symbol of potassium itself for so long. Number 6, bananas. Many people think about bananas when potassium is mentioned. But what if I told you that latest studies are showing that we are only going to get a fraction of the potassium from bananas we thought we could get? Anyways, there is more in bananas than potassium. They are also a great source of vitamin B6, which is key for healthy kidneys, and of various antioxidants and phytonutrients. And what if you have diabetes? Well, eat unripe bananas. A high proportion of the starch in unripe bananas is resistant starch. Same thing we found in red potatoes. This is something you really want in your diet. In fact, unripe bananas have a GI as low as 42. This starch turns into sugar when the banana becomes ripe. So the greener the banana, the less sugar in it. But as always with diabetes, moderation is key with fruit. Now a question. Is there any proof that dietary potassium is not actually dangerous for people with CKD? Now, potassium ended up on the list of things to avoid in a rather unscientific way. I mean, they just thought that when potassium was too high, restricting potassium intake was the way to go. But just like it happens for cholesterol and other nutrients, there is a very small direct correlation between the amount of a certain substance we get in the diet and the amount we have in blood. Now, there are also cases in which a patient has his blood potassium too high already, okay? In those cases, a diet rich in potassium may actually cause problems. So take a look at your last blood analysis and double check how high is your blood potassium. Chances are your potassium levels are not too high. But if that happens and you have more than 5.2 milliequivalents per liter of blood potassium, well, you will need to take care of that. And avoiding high potassium foods is not gonna help. It's just a way to shift the blame on the patient. More about this in a moment. Before that, another high potassium fruit that was wrongly banned. This is a favorite of dieters around the world and it comes with many health benefits. Number 5, avocado. Avocados truly are vitamin powerhouses. They are rich in vitamin C, E, K, and B6, as well as riboflavin, niacin, folate, pantothenic acid, and magnesium. Avocados are so rich in antioxidant and anti-inflammatory compounds, they can protect your heart and kidneys from oxidative stress, which is associated with the progression of chronic diseases, alright? And they are so rich in potassium. But the reason why they are so good for you is another. So, why should you add avocados to your diet? While most fruits mostly contain carbs, avocados are richer in healthy fats. This makes them the best friend of your kidneys and of your heart, okay? Researchers have found that avocados may protect the heart, just like olive oil does. Besides, avocados won't spike your blood sugar levels at all, making them great for people with diabetes. Now, a very important question. What to do if your potassium levels are actually too high? According to statistics, 1 out of 5 CKD patients has too high potassium levels. And while it's too easy from a doctor's perspective to blame it on dietary potassium, that's not going to help the patient at all. High potassium levels are mostly caused by factors not related to the diet. According to current guidelines for CKD management, clinicians should actively investigate other factors that contribute to hyperkalemia before reducing dietary potassium intake. These factors include constipation, inadequate insulin untreated metabolic acidosis, inadequate dialysis, and medications. So to be clear, this says that if you have too high potassium levels, your doctor should make sure that you are not constipated. You are taking enough insulin if diabetic. You are doing dialysis often enough if in dialysis you don't have metabolic acidosis. And also the medications you are taking may also cause too high potassium levels. Solving these issues, which is crucial for your health, by the way, is almost always going to lower your blood potassium levels drastically. This in turn will let you enjoy a diet higher in potassium and all the health benefits that it brings. And speaking of foods that you can really enjoy, let's see an antioxidant superstar with a delicious taste. Number 4. Cantaloupe. Cantaloupe makes the perfect summer snack. This fruit packs loads of potassium and other minerals, but also antioxidants. Oxidative stress is one of the main processes that damage the kidneys, and a diet rich in antioxidants can really help. Now, there is another reason why CKD patients may want to include cantaloupe in their diet. Inositol, also known as vitamin B8, inositol is a key nutrient for those with diabetes. In the body, it has an effect similar to that of metformin, but it's completely natural. There are studies that link supplementing this vitamin to a fast improvement in glucose levels and A1C levels in diabetes patients. Just remember that cantaloupes are very sweet, so to minimize the health benefits, moderation is key. Okay, up next, a fruit that directly helps the kidneys. Studies have shown that the oil of this fruit can be of help in case of kidney problems. Number 3, coconut. Coconuts, just like avocados, are richer in fats than carbs, which is great especially for people with diabetes. Now, much of the fat in coconut is in the form of medium-chain triglycerides or MCTs. This is the only form of fat that the body can use as an immediate source of energy, a bit like carbs but without any insulin spike. MCTs are so healthy for the kidneys, especially in case of diabetes, that you can also get them in oil form to supplement your diet. Studies say they may improve insulin resistance and help overweight people lose weight. Now, like with the other fruits of this video, moderation is key when consuming coconuts, since they are very caloric. Our top 2 now, some of the healthiest veggies you didn't know you could eat. Number 2, broccoli. Broccoli is definitely one of the healthiest foods on earth, a true powerhouse of nutrients. It's reputed to benefit digestion, the cardiovascular system, and the immune system, and to have anti-inflammatory and even cancer-preventing properties. It also has detoxing properties, very useful to lower your creatinine levels and improve the health of your kidneys thanks to unique phytochemicals. These plant compounds, they aid all steps of the body's detoxification process, from activation to neutralization and elimination of contaminants. Just make sure not to overcook broccoli so you don't end up losing some precious nutrient. The best way of cooking these superfoods is sauteing for up to 5 minutes, steaming for up to 20 minutes, or microwaving. Okay, what can be even healthier than broccoli? Our number 1, the most alkaline veggie in the world, also known for its blood pressure lowering properties. Number 1 is spinach. Now, spinach is so healthy that I recommended it many times here despite its very high potassium content. And now that we know that potassium is one more reason to want spinach in your diet, you can finally enjoy the alkaline and kidney restoring properties this veggie has to offer. Because following an alkaline diet really is a must for people with kidney disease. And if you want to know more about the most alkaline foods, to add to your diet. This video up here is for you, and this is all for today. Thank you for watching. God bless you all.